Hey, welcome back, folks. I'm going to take a little departure today from my usual podcast, and I want to talk about Jumpstart, and I'm going to talk about the things that I think make it valuable for you that you may not think about, and understand why I put them there. Because here's the secret: I don't know everything. However, if you put a bunch of really smart people in the room, we're going to get some really good answers. Keep listening.
Welcome to your weekly dose of uncommon sense, helpful insights, and tough love. I'm your host, Tom Stimson. The Intentional Success Podcast comes to you through the generous support of Mertz Crew.
Mertz Crew helps top AV companies book quality AV freelancers. Your choice, your rates. We handle contracts, insurance, and payments. You save time, cost, and reduce risk. Start today at mertzcrew.com.
Now on to the show.
So Jumpstart Workshop, my next Jumpstart Workshop is coming up April 22nd and 23rd in Columbus, Ohio. And I just want to talk a little bit about Jumpstart in general and a few details about this particular event. First of all, I started Jumpstart workshops in, I think it was 2016. My first workshop had 17 attendees. I remember it vividly. I think maybe 6 of them actually paid to be there. That's how hard it was for me to find takers on all this, because what I was doing was a classic 2-day brain dump. I was teaching you everything I thought I knew at the time about how to run your live event staging company. Rental and staging. We were still rental and staging back then. I just started creeping the concept of we are live event companies, because staging is the thing that you stand on when you're at a lectern. Now, so Jumpstart was a way for me to teach a lot of people at one time. People who didn't have access to me as consulting. My consulting practice was very different back then. I could only have about 5 or 6 clients a year, because what I was doing was very involved and very deep. Today, I now have peer groups and coaching clients, and there's 30 companies that I'm working with on an annual basis. So it's much easier to reach more folks. But Jumpstart and podcasts and blog posts and all the other stuff I do reach a lot of folks a lot more easily. But what they don't do is bring together disparate folks from the industry and put them in a room where they can learn stuff together, they can share stuff together, they can network, they could talk about their hobbies, where they went on vacation, because that's part of what makes us tick. You know, we're an interesting group of people when you start drilling down and find out what brought us to this industry, what keeps us here. The fact is, we have a lot in common. So Jumpstart has become a way of bringing folks together and networking. We don't really have a convention that's targeted directly at the corporate event production world. What we would traditionally call AV people, but AV is not the right term anymore, because we're using technology that's not just audiovisual. We're using entertainment technology. We're adapting things from all sorts of industries in the live event space, and which is why I say live events now, because the tools that we might use in the Marriott ballroom are also tools that we might use on an entertainment tour, or we might use in a theatrical production. So the overlaps are probably greater than the things that separate us. And I say this as an old theater guy. I grew up in theater, and theater, we take any tool we can get and we adapt it for the problem at hand. And now I find that in our live event world, we're all doing that. We're pretty agnostic about the source of the technology or the tool or the resource. We're very eager to apply it if it'll address our needs. And that's who Jumpstart events are targeted to. We're targeted to the people who run the businesses that use all of these tools to bring messages to audiences, whatever type of audience they might be. And yes, I still teach. I still have my business philosophies. I still have my approaches, and I still teach how to do that. I'm constantly evolving this, coming up and refining what we're doing, and coming up with new ways to approach it and new ways to talk about it. I'm trying to respond to changes in the marketplace and the industry and the buyers that we're dealing with. The thing that doesn't change that much anymore is technology. I mean, technology changing is so normal, it's really not part of the equation anymore. It just is. But the people change, and the tools that we have available to support us change. Software platforms change, and all of these things are giving us more power to serve our customers better, serve our employees better, deal with our suppliers better. So again, Jumpstart is about bringing people together to share those ideas. I'll teach you the big stuff. If you want to know exactly what's the best way for your company to do timekeeping, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really sure I care that much. It's a little bit too granular. But if you come to Jumpstart, I guarantee you there are at least 10% of the people in the room that are absolutely fanatical about their solution for timekeeping, whatever the heck that is. And so if you have something that's near and dear to your heart, you're going to find a kindred spirit there. You're going to find somebody who's tried things that you haven't tried. You've tried things they haven't tried. You're going to share notes. You guys are going to be so happy. People are going to wonder what's going on. So Jumpstart, sharing information, meeting new people. Now, this Jumpstart is a little bit different, and I love it when we get a chance to reinvent Jumpstart a little bit. Coming out of the pandemic, it was just a whole lot more Tom and the fire hose because there was a lot of catching up to do. We hadn't had a Jumpstart since before the pandemic when we were still figuring out sales, operations, and finance, and now we're talking about selling, planning, administration, and execution. But the methodology is still sound. So I will teach some things. My good friend Carl Becker will be there to teach some things that are more salesy and marketing friendly than I am. Though I do know a lot about this stuff. Carl's got a great way with words. He's a fantastic sales coach. So we'll be there, but we're also going to have roundtables. Now, roundtables are, well, Tom, that sounds like a really lazy way for you to get a bunch of people to pay you money. Now, roundtables are great. They're a lot of work because I'm going to give you a roundtable group some prompts to help start the discussion and get you guys going. I'm going to provide the facilitators that are going to help you guys have a conversation. And you'll be able to self-select what groups you go to. We're going to have multiple roundtable sessions on a number of topics, and you get to pick the topics you're going to go to. Now, you won't be able to go to all of them. Sorry. Okay, there are 3 rounds of roundtables, but there are 8 sessions, so you're not going to get to go to all of them. But we will have a session on marketing. We will have a session on planning or ops for those of you that are still stuck in that world. We have another session about ops and warehouse specifically, software tools. I know some of you want to geek out. We have finance and management for those of you who are a little bit more boring, but I will probably be in that room because I love that topic. We will talk about proposals, lots of cool things going on in the proposal work, lots of changes in buyer habits. We want to talk about production in general, okay? I'm very interested because I come from the production world. I've spent years and years in the field. I'm very concerned about the quality of what we do in the field now, even though that's not my bailiwick, that's not my consulting practice. But I know people who do it really well, and I see other people who look like they made it up on their own. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It looks bad for our industry. There are tried and true best practices. I want to see people sharing those. That's why I want this roundtable session. And then, of course, talent. Everybody's number one topic these days seems to be talent. Where do I find freelancers? Where do I find staff technicians? How do I hire salespeople? What are your best practices? You share yours. Everybody else will share theirs. Everybody's going to leave with better ideas about how to recruit and retain the folks that they need to work on their events. And something you will learn about yourself is sometimes your assumptions are wrong about who you need or the quality of the person or the value of that person. It's going to be a great discussion. I hope you get to be there. So there'll be good prompts for all of these things to get the conversation started, which I love. And then we're going to do a couple of small workshops. Carl and I will each lead a workshop on stuff. Carl's going to talk about marketing and selling to the next generation. We'll get a panel discussion up there. People can share their experiences. It's amazing. I think we skipped an entire generation of buyers. So this is going to be an interesting conversation for many of you to take on. We have an entire generation of buyers of the older generation, my generation, who are aging out. I mean, they're just dying, so if your business is built around people who are over 60, oh my goodness, please come to the session and find out how to talk to the people who don't even know you exist, right? I'm going to take a breakout on operations and planning and taking that to a higher level. Spoiler alert, it's not about how much detail you put together, okay? It's about the quality of the detail that you provide and the people that you send out onto the job site. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll put a panel group together to talk a little bit how they do some of those things and share those ideas. So great learning, great sharing, great opportunity all through this. Plenty of free time, but here's the best part. I haven't even talked about it yet. On Tuesday, the first day, okay, Wednesday is the workshop, very traditional, like we've done it, new topics, new subjects, more of you. On Tuesday, we're doing the shop crawl. I am so excited about this. Something that I find pretty often is that many of you have not visited other people's shops. The only thing you've seen of your competitor's shop is standing on the loading dock waiting for them to bring you a screen. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's the culture in your community. But my goodness, have you gone to another city and visited company? Have you invited business owners into your place to see what's going on? This is great stuff. So I've created an opportunity through my good friends at Bartha, at Live, and at Mills James Productions, which are 3 national level event production companies who all happen to be in Columbus, Ohio, to let us tour their operations, talk to their people, do some panels and Q&A, ask them anything. I've told them to expect to answer a question on absolutely anything. But seeing how other people work, seeing how they set up their offices, asking a few questions about who their customers are, where do they find freelancers, okay? How do they decide what new equipment, what softwares are they using? Ask them anything. I don't care if you are a 2-person operation, you're going to use something, find something that you're going to use that's going to help your business, right? I've been into hundreds of people's offices. I learned something at every single one. So the shop crawl is an opportunity for you and your team to get out of your shell, see what other people are doing, talk to them in person, and maybe see what you aspire to. Okay, maybe this is the size of a company. Maybe you want to be Mills James when you grow up. Great. Here's what they look like. Here's what they really are, okay, in terms of sophistication. This is what you have to work on. All right. So it's wonderful information. I'm very grateful to these folks for opening up, that embracing the spirit of Jumpstart, that we are transparent. We share information. We don't need proprietary information. We need to make our industry better, and they're stepping up to do that. So attendees, sign up for this. We've got some seats left. We've got the buses scheduled. We're going to take you to 3 different places. We'll feed you lunch in the day. Don't worry about that. We won't leave you hanging. Food's important to me. Of course, we got a couple of cocktail receptions lined up for you. Lots of good networking time to sit and talk and get to know your peers. So that's what Jumpstart's all about. If there's another event like that, please tell me. I want to go to it. But for the time being, this is what we're going to continue to do for you. And we're going to do another one of these just like this in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in November. So stay tuned for that. So if you want to learn more about Jumpstart, go to my website, trstimson.com/Jumpstart, and learn more. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in Columbus.
If you liked this episode of the Intentional Success Podcast, please leave a review and don't forget to like and subscribe. This podcast has been brought to you by the helpful folks at Mertz Crew.